Om Shrutismritipurananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavadpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ajnananjanhavitirtham Vidyatirtham Vivekinam Sarvesham Sukhadam Tirtham Bharati Tirthamashraye Vidya Vinaya Sampannam Vitaragam Vivekinam Vande Vedanta Tatvajnam Vidhushekara Bharati. So dear friends, this is our fourth meeting of discussing this text Prabodha Sudhakara. The central teaching of Prabodha Sudhakara is the self-knowledge or Atma Jnanam, which is the cause for moksha or liberation from the circle of birth and death. As adjuncts to this teaching, the text also teaches us the bhakti or devotion towards Bhagavan, and also the qualifying, the fundamental qualification for both devotion as well as the self-knowledge, which is Vairagya. So we had this three important verses which we have seen in the previous meetings. Vairagyam Atma Bodho Bhaktish Cheti Trayam Kaditam Mukte Sadhanamadau Tatra Virago Vitrishnata Prokta Sachaham Mamatabhyam Prachanna Sarvadehishu Tatrahanta Dehe Mamata Bharyadi Vishayeshu Deha Kimatmakoyam Kasambandho Syava Vishayehi Evam Vicharyamane Hanta Mata Nivartete. So these three verses are, you can say, they are outlining the entire teaching of this text. The first verse here talks about the central three teachings of this text: Vairagyam, Atmabodha, that is Atma Jnanam, and devotion Bhakti. And the fact that Vairagya is the primary of these qualifications, it is the entry point of the primary qualification towards understanding the other two teachings of this text. Now this Vairagya is to be gained by the removal of Ahankara and Mamakara. It is the main obstacle for this Vairagya is Ahankara and Mamakara, and these have to be removed. That is the meaning of the second verse here, which is the fifth verse in this text. Then how do you remove this Ahankara and Mamakara? That is by inquiry into the nature of the body. That is the last verse which is presented here, which you have seen before. So we can understand this by means of this sort of a sequence. So to obtain self-knowledge, self-knowledge is the cause for moksha. To obtain self-knowledge, one needs to have vairagyam. To obtain vairagyam or to gain vairagyam, one needs to remove the sense of identification with one's own body, that is the ahankara, and remove the sense of mindness towards the things which are associated with the body, that is the mamakara. Both the ahankara and mamakara have to be removed. Then to enact or to obtain the nivritti of this ahankara and mamakara, one has to inquire into the nature of the body and distinguish it from the nature of the self, which is the Atman. So this sequence, inquiry into the nature of the body and how this is distinguished from the Atman, that will lead to the removal of ahankara and mamakara, and that will result in the gain of vairagyam, and vairagyam becomes the first, the entry point, the entry qualification, the main chief qualification into understanding the real nature of oneself. So this sequence is very important for us to keep in mind, even for the rest of our discussion regarding this text, as well as the teaching of Vedanta itself, which is condensed into this text. So continuing this pattern, so keeping this pattern of thinking in mind, we will continue looking at the verses. In the last meeting, which was our third session, the final verse which you have seen is this 14th verse in the text. Charamas tatra nirdehaha tatro janmanvayotpattihi swakulachara vicharash shruti pracharascha tatrapi. So as part of the inquiry into the nature of the body, Bhagavad-pada has presented to us where this body is coming from, for what reason it has come. That is, the cause for the body is the various karmas which we have done as a result of the the karma as a karma phalam, the body, the different types of bodies are obtained. Among these different types of bodies, the human shariram, that is the nara shariram, the human body has a certain elevated status, and even within the human body, the kind of family into which we are born, the kind of lineage into which we are born, the kind of achara which is there in our family, the association with Shruti, the association with Veda Mata, this association, this kind of human body which we get in the in the appropriate virtuous circumstances, enabling us to practice dharma, enabling us to understand dharma and bring it into our own life. This connection which we have with the Shastra, if you have got such a human body in which such a connection is possible, such a human body is very elevated. So the reason for telling the privilege of attaining a human body, the privilege of attaining a human body which is born into a certain kind of family which has Shastraic association in which dharma has been practiced for a long time, etc. So the purpose of telling this privilege is to tell the listener, that is the sadhaka, that with all this privilege, a great responsibility is also present, is also parallelly running along with this privilege. So if we make use of that responsibility, then we will attain Shreyas, we will attain the highest goal. If we are not using the privilege of human body, if we are not taking up that responsibility which is coming along with us, then we are our entire attaining the human body becomes waste. It becomes a complete waste. This is the theme of our next few verses which we will see. Along with that, further nature of the speciality of gaining the human body, the great opportunity, and what will happen if we misuse that opportunity, that will also be explained. And then the Acharya is going to go into the teaching of the defects of the human body, which is very important for us to gain a certain sense of cognitive distance. That is, I am not this body. That feeling should be deeply embedded within us. That understanding should be deeply ingrained within us. To gain this understanding, we have to meditate. We have to concentrate on the defects of the human body. That will also be discussed by the Acharya. So let us now continue with the 15th verse. आत्मानात्म विवेको नो देहस्य च विनाशिता ज्ञानम् एवं सति स्वमायुः प्राज्ञैरपि नीयते मिथ्या. The great mistake which will be done if we do not make use of getting the human body towards the goal of Atma Jnanam, towards the goal of Vairagyam. What is the problem which will come, or what is the great misfortune which comes if we don't make use of the human body for this purpose? That is being told here, that is being emphasized here. So Atmanatma Vivekaha. What is this Atmanatma Vivekaha? That is the distinction or differentiation, the discrimination which has to be born in the mind, which has to be born in the intellect, between the nature of the self and the nature of the body, the nature of the anatma. The anatma means here the shariram. So anatma means that which is not the self. Atma means our own self. Anatma means that which is not the self. Vivekaha means the knowledge or discrimination which one gains. The seeing these two things are two different things, right? The body is a different thing, the nature of the self is a different thing. So these two are not the same. This attitude must be gained by us. Suppose this attitude is not gained by us. No. So Atmanatma Viveko, no means what? Suppose this attitude is not. No means negation. So it is not gained by us. And similarly, Dehasya cha vinashita jnanam. Dehasya vinashita jnanam cha. Suppose that is also not gained by us. No. That is also not gained by us. So what is this? Dehasya vinashita jnanam means what? The nature of the body is to. What is the nature of the body? The fundamental nature of the body is to be destroyed. It is always in the process of change, and whatever is in the process of change will get eventually destroyed or will get eventually given up. You will have to give it up at some point. It will be disintegrated back into the elements from which it came from. So this body is made up of the various elements, the physical, the gross elements. So at some point of time, it has to be disintegrated back into those elements. So that is this vinasha. So this vinasha has to be properly understood. If it is not understood, then what will happen? Right? That is what is being told here. So suppose the person, Atma Anatma Viveko, no. Suppose the person is not able to discriminate between, is not getting the discrimination, the discriminatory knowledge between the Atma and the Anatma, or the person, and the person is not gaining the knowledge or imbibing the understanding that the body is something which will go away. Therefore, I am not the body. Suppose this knowledge is not ingrained by the person, then what is the thing here? Evam sati. So suppose such a situation arises that this person is not gaining that knowledge, then swamayuhu pragnerapi niyate mithya. So one's own lifetime, ayuhu swam pragnerapi niyate swameva niyate mithya. So the person by his own efforts is wasting the complete life, is wasting one's own life, even though pragnerapi means what? Even though the person may be otherwise very much intelligent, otherwise the person may be a very intellectual person in the world, but because this understanding of certain important spiritual truths has not been gained by the person, the entire gaining of the human body. So the human body, which is a great opportunity, which is gained as a result of great punya phala, this human body in which the opportunity is there to do dharma, to understand higher ideals of life, to strive towards that ideal, that human body, gaining that becomes a complete waste. The entire lifetime is wasted. So that is what is being told here. Evam sati swamayuhu pragnerapi niyate mithya. So pragnerapi. So even though the person may be intellectual, otherwise very, very intelligent, such a person by his own efforts, swam niyate mithya. So the person is wasting one's own life. So mithya means something which is a waste, the life which is wasted. Niyate means it is wasted. Mithya niyate. So ayuhu, the entire lifetime, mithya niyate, it is wasted. So see that even though the otherwise intelligent, so why is this very important? The human body is given as far as the Vedanta Vichara is concerned, as far as the Sanatana Dharma is concerned, we have understood that the human body is for a specific purpose. Firstly, it is for the purpose of doing dharma and knowing what is dharma and doing dharma. And more importantly, our primary purpose, however, is that through this dharma, one has to gain the proper understanding, the proper qualifications for gaining the highest goal of life, which is moksha, for gaining the highest goal of life, which is Atma Jnanam. For gaining Atma Jnanam only, the body has been given to us. The higher purpose, this is the higher purpose of gaining the human body. If anything is given to us for a higher purpose and the person is just wasting it on different other things, then the person, it is only a great loss to that person, right? So for instance, suppose some the father, so as an example we can say the father is giving some money to the son, to his son or daughter, to the child, to pay school fees. Now school fees is for gaining education. That education which the person gains in the school may help the person for the complete lifetime. So it is a very important thing for which that money has been given to the child, and the child has to take that money to the school and pay the school fees. Now, if this money which is to be paid is given for paying the school fees, if the child, because of a lack of understanding about the importance of the school, spends it away in some trivial things which are some immediately pleasurable things, like getting some chocolate or going for some party or going to some excursion, bunking the school and going somewhere else, without telling the parents, without informing the parents that money has been spent for some other purpose, which may, that purpose may give some pleasure also, that purpose may give some temporary joy also, but that the money is said to be wasted only. The person may gain something out of it, right? The student or the child may gain some joy out of eating the chocolates, may gain some temporary happiness out of after going to some party or some excursion, and the money has been spent, no doubt, and it has been spent and some happiness is also obtained, no doubt, but we still say we would still say that this money has been completely wasted, because it is meant for education, and education is the most important thing for having a long life in which things will be very comfortable. So for that, education is very important. For that, this money has been provided by the parent, and this money has been completely wasted by the child. So this is itself a great loss. This wasting of this money on some trivial things is a great loss. Now imagine that Bhagavan, due to the performance of our karma, on account of our performance of karma, by the punya karma which we have done in the past, Bhagavan has graced us with the opportunity of getting this human body. So it is like a fund which is given to the jiva. It is like a tool which is given to the jiva. Now Bhagavan is saying, Shastra is saying, you use this tool and elevate yourself. Move towards the higher goal, which will free you from this entire cycle of sorrow, cycle of birth and death. Will free you from the samsara chakra. So you have to gain such a, you have been given such a body for gaining that knowledge. Now, this what do you say, the treasure of the human body which has been given to us, if it is not spent in the gaining the Atma Anatma Viveka, if it is not spent in gaining the certain facts of certain facts which are true about the human body, that the human body is a perishing entity, that the Atma is different from this human body, if this knowledge is, which is the most important thing, if it is not, the body is not used to gain this knowledge, then it is as though the entire lifetime has been completely wasted. No matter how many pleasures we may enjoy, no matter how much happiness we may enjoy in this world, this is all a temporary thing. The permanent thing, the moving towards the permanent thing, moving towards the permanent goal, moving towards the goal of permanent happiness via the self knowledge is the main purpose of getting the human body. So towards that purpose, the human body, if it is not used, then the entire life will be wasted. Even if the person is otherwise intelligent, the child may be otherwise intelligent in going to the party and hanging around with friends and getting the best possible chocolate, knowing which shop to buy what, knowing where we can go to enjoy the maximum. This knowledge the child may know. All this knowledge, the child, this worldly knowledge, the child may know, and the child may very well spend the money for going to the best place, eating the best food and all that, so that the pleasure becomes maximum. In the same way, the human being can be the most intelligent person in knowing what to eat so that I can enjoy the maximum. Where all can I visit in this world to enjoy my life the maximum? What are all the bhoga vastu? What are all the things of enjoyment which I can buy for myself so that my pleasure and my happiness will be maximized as long as I am in this world? All this knowledge may be there with the person. So such a person here is called prajna. So such a person who is otherwise very much intelligent in all the worldly affairs, in when it comes to the primary goal, which is the spiritual goal, in that goal, this person is a completely a fool or a idiot. He has completely wasted the great wealth of the human body which has been given to him. So we should not be such a person. We are not talking about somebody who is somewhere in this. When Shastra tells us a verse, we have to reflect it in our own mind. We have to try to understand and imbibe what is the teaching for us. And the teaching for us here is body is available to us to know the self. For that purpose, primary purpose, it has to be used. So purport I'm just showing here. We become the cause for wasting our life if we do not strive to know our true nature. So we have to strive to know our true nature. What is the distinguish it from the human body and gain the vairagyam and so on. Now let us move on to the next. Ayuhu क्षणलवमात्रं न लभ्यते हेमकोटिभिः क्वापि तच्चेद् गच्छति सर्वं मृषा ततः काधिका हानिः. So once again, to re-emphasize the magnitude of this loss which has been told about in the previous verse, in the previous verse, the 16th verse has come about. Ayuhu kshanalava matram na labhyate hemakotibhihi kwapi. So the first line is independently, you can say it is a great aphorism or a great teaching by itself. So what does it say? So even for those who are seeking only artha kama dharma, even for those it is a very important verse, and they themselves know this verse also. So what does it say? Kshanalava matram ayuhu na labhyate. So even a second, even a fraction of a second, kshanalava matra means fraction of a second of our lifetime cannot be regained, cannot be gained by spending crores and crores of wealth. So hema could be, hema means some gold, so it is signifying the wealth. So even if you spend crores and crores of wealth from our side, we will not be able to purchase even a single fraction of additional time in this complete lifetime. So whatever lifetime we have, that is the lifetime we have. This has been according to the prarabdha of each person, according to the purva janma karma of each person, the lifetime has been decided by Bhagavan. So this lifetime extension of this is not possible. And whatever time has already gone, that also we cannot regain back. So this time is a very most priceless quantity in the entire world. All the other things in the world, if we pay some money, if we give some wealth, we can possibly purchase. But this time is something which can never be purchased. Not only we can buy the time which is there, which we have, which has elapsed before, but we cannot also purchase any extra time to live in this world. So we cannot, it is not available anywhere. Nowhere can this trade happen, that you are giving some wealth which you have collected due to various karma which you have done. For by paying that wealth which you have gained, you cannot buy extra time and you cannot buy lost time. So this reflecting on this, the businessman says, I cannot waste my time because time is money. And the person who is doing dharma says, I have to do dharma in such a way that even if I die today, I will be called, or I will be referred to, or I will be treated as a dharmika person. I should not waste any time. I should always keep doing dharma all the time. Here the context is what? Here the context is vichara, dharmartha kama moksha. So for gaining moksha, now the person has to reflect on this even more deeply. So the primary goal of life being moksha, the primary goal of life being not dharma, not artha, not kama, the primary goal of life being atma jnana or moksha. That being the case, the lifetime should never be wasted. That is the central teaching which is being told here. So tached gacchati sarvam mrisha tatah kadhika hanihi. So this being the case, so even this being the case means what? That we cannot even buy a single fraction of a second with all our wealth. This being the case, how can, if the entire lifetime goes waste? So how is the entire lifetime going waste? If the person does not gain the Atmanatma Viveka, the person does not gain the Deha Anitya Jnanam, then the entire lifetime goes waste. This is from the previous verse. So Tached Gachadi Sarvam Mrisha Tatah Kadhika Hanihi. If everything is going away, the entire lifetime is wasted without knowing the nature of the self, then there is no greater. Tatra Tatah Ka Adhika Hanihi Ka. What is the greater loss? Adhika Hanihi Ka. What is the greater loss? Greater loss compared to what? Greater loss than wasting the entire lifetime. Even one fraction cannot be purchased by crores of wealth. When we lose the entire lifetime, then there is a greater problem. There is no greater loss which is had by the person. This is the central teaching of this verse. Now let us go to the next verse. Naradehatikkramanat praptau pashvadidehanam swatanorapyajnane paramarthasyatra ka varta. Now In case, so more warnings are being given now. In case the human body is lost, the human body is wasted away, one lifetime the person is just doing various karma and enjoying bhoga. This is what is if the person is not knowing the self, the person is not engaged in understanding higher ideal of life, understanding what the nature of the body, what the nature of the self is, distinguishing the two, the person is not along the spiritual pursuit, then the only other pursuit is the pursuit of karma and bhoga. So do many things, enjoy. Do many things and enjoy all the pleasures of the world. This is most of the situation of the people in the world is this. They do a lot of things and they enjoy a few things, and then they undergo various sufferings, etc. So karma and bhoga, these are the primary things which people generally do. So if a lifetime goes away only in this karma and bhoga, this bhoga will include both happiness and sorrow, whatever it is. If the lifetime goes away only in the karma and bhoga, no effort is made in gaining understanding of one's own real nature, then such a lifetime is wasted. Having wasted this lifetime, what about the next lifetime? There is no guarantee that one will get a human body again. No such guarantee is given in the Shastra. You may get any other body according to Prarabdha, whatever it is there. So in case we get a body which is not human body, which is an animal body or even a lower body, then much more suffering ensues because of that. That is what is being talked about. So Naradehatik Kramanat. So after the passing away of the body, after the giving up of the human body, if the person, so Prapto Pashwadi Dehana, if the person attains a body of a Pashu, body of a Pashu means animal, or Pashwadi means animal or lower forms, animal or other forms of bodies. If the person gets it, Swatanorapyagyane Paramarthasya Kavarta. Now, these animals and other lower beings, they don't even have a sense of what my body is, what is the nature of my body. That intellectually understanding that itself becomes incapable. So the entire Janma goes away in only doing and enjoying. At least the human being has the capability to understand. If the human being wants to understand, then the Buddhi Shakti is there, which will giving the capability to understand higher things. Whereas if the other animal bodies are being obtained, or some other lower forms, forms of body one gets, then this Buddhi Shakti is hidden. It is not revealed. It is only meant for very minimal things, finding out where food is. The animal only has the Buddhi Shakti to find where food is, then where my mate is, for doing this, for gaining food, and then for procreation, for running away from some danger. For this only the Buddhi Shakti is provided. So very minimal Buddhi is there with the animal or the other lower forms. Only flight or fight, run away from danger, to fight whatever is necessary, and to eat whatever is necessary to procreate. That's all. Right. So with such a shariram, which has such a limited buddhi, almost no intellect or very little intellect, only meant for some basic survival things, even the awareness of the body, so contemplation on the nature of the body itself becomes not possible, because Buddhi Shakti is not available for that also. Then what about contemplating on the Atman and moksha and other things? So Paramarthasya Kavarta, what to speak of this Kavarta, what to speak of this? So rhetorical question is being asked here. Atra Kavarta, Paramarthasya Kavarta. So Paramarthasya Jnane Kavarta. So what can be said about the gaining the knowledge of the higher order things, the Paramartha, that is the Atma Tattva, Moksha Tattva, etc. is not possible at all. So be aware. Every time Shastra is telling us, be aware, be aware. Otherwise, this human body, this human lifetime will be wasted. So you should not waste it. The suffering which are there in the human body itself is too much. What to talk of the other bodies? If you gain some other body, then you are at more risk, one more entire lifetime. So how many years, so some decades of time, again they will be wasted. And we have seen before, this time is very precious. and suffering is always painful. So we should not waste this human body which has been provided to us. Every second, every minute has to be spent in trying to reach the higher ideals of life. That is the idea being presented here. Let us continue the next verse. Satatam pravahyamanir vrishabhair ashvair kharair gajair mahishaihi ha kashtam kshut shamaihi kshantair no shakyate vaktum. So a bit of more emphasis. So one more verse Acharya is giving us to emphasize the fact that getting animal body is very risky. Appa. You please make sure that you don't waste this human opportunity, this opportunity of gaining the human body. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. So repeatedly, this attitude has to be developed. Now, why so much emphasis, sir? Why is there so much emphasis? Because the emphasis in the world for gaining the worldly things is so much. So some antidote to that has to be given. In the world, if you just open your eyes, the only thing which is available to us is, people, other people or other, businesses or other things which are there around you. Generally, the nature of the people, the nature of the world is that it is only attracting the human being. So providing the various facilities, you come to me, I will give you this. You come to me, I will give you this. Or giving us various kinds of worldly work to do. Not even Swadharma, not even the Veda Dharma, but various kinds of Kamya Karma opportunities are provided. If you do this, you will get that benefit. If you do this, you will get some other benefit and so on. So 95% of our life goes away. Generally, I'm speaking, 95% of our life goes away in doing many things which are of the nature of Kamya Karma, which are of the nature of, having some desire you work in the world. I work for gaining something. It's not for gaining, it's not because I work because it is dharma. It is not because it is the Shastra Vidhi. It is the obligation to the Shastra. It is the command of the Shastra. Because of that, I am not working. I am working because I want to enjoy in my life various things. And whatever enjoyments, for that, lot of advertisement is there in the world. So the world in general very naturally attracts the people who are interested in Artha and Kama. This is the nature of the world. So when the Shastra and when the Guru and Acharya, they speak, they have to provide the opposite of this. They have to, stop the person on his tracks and tell the person that, see, this Artha Kama available in the world and more advertisement is provided for that. But you see, this is not for your Parama Purushartha. This is not your ultimate goal of life. You have to come away. You have to observe these things and move away from that. See the problems in the Arthakama. See the problems in Arthakama Dharma also. None of this is going to give you any Nitya Palam. So you have to move away from that and make sure that human body is used for the correct purpose, which is the Parama Purushartha, which is the ultimate Purushartha, that is the Moksha. So contemplate on this opportunity, contemplate on the dangers of missing this opportunity also. Very important. So in that theme only, the repeated emphasis is being given on various problems which may arise if the person does not understand this higher truths. So Satatam Pravahyamanaihi Vrishabaihi Ashvaihi Kharaihi Gajaihi Mahishaihi Ha Kashtam Kshamaihi Shrantaihi No Shakyate Vaktum. So if the person is missing the human body and after giving up the human body attains the animal body, what are all the difficulties which are being told here? So these animals which are being mentioned here, they are living very close to human beings. So Vrishabhaihi is mentioned here, Ashvaihi is mentioned here, Kharaihi is mentioned, Gajai and Mahishaihi. So all these things. So Rishabhaihi means what? Rishabha means the ox, the cattle. Ashwa means the horses. Kara means the donkeys. Gaja, the elephants, and Mahisha is the buffaloes. So these cattle and various forms of these four-legged animals, they are all used by the human beings. They live very close to human beings. So you may say they are next in line. So if you miss the human birth and come one level down, these are the things which you may get. These forms are the things these bodies are the things which you may end up getting. And all these forms are living close to human beings. But even if they are living close to human beings, so much suffering. Satatam pravahyamanaihi. So these entities are always involved, are always forced to work for the human beings. They are always used as some kind of vahana, some kind of vehicles on the human beings. They are being chased, they are being caught, they are being tied, and then they are being rode upon by the people. So suffering ensures. So when we say people, you should not. So when the Shastra is talking about these animals, it is for us to imagine what will happen if we are born as these animals. That is the point here. So you will be ill-treated, mistreated, badly treated, or made to work like cattle. If you are a cattle, you will be made to work like a cattle only. So that is what is being told here. All of these things have to be enslaved to the human being and suffer like anything. Ha kashtam kshukshamaihi shrantaihi no shakyate vaktum. So what are all these difficulties? Kashtam no shakyate vaktum. Ha kashtam means, oh, what a great suffering, like that. And it is not even possible to describe. No shakyate vaktum. It's not even possible to describe the sufferings which are suffered by these things, which are made to work like anything. And this working like anything without rest, shrantaihi, without rest also, even if they are completely tired also, they have to work. Kshukshamaihi, even if they are fully hungry and they are not being given proper food, even in the hungry state also they have to continue to work. So contemplate on the sufferings endured by all these creatures and make sure that you are not born as these creatures. If you are born as these creature, you also have to suffer. Like that, you have to contemplate and make sure that within this lifetime only progress, spiritual progress is there. I make efforts. Positively, we make efforts to cultivate the attitude of dispassion, vairagya, for which the atmanatma viveka, deha, anitya buddhi, all these things are to be understood, cultivated, and so on. So that is the implication. So we will stop at this verse. In our next meeting, we will look at what is the nature of the human body and what is the nature of the defects of the human body, so that we will be able to distinguish it clearly from the nature of the self as described by the Shastra, as told by the Acharya. With this distinction, the Nitya Nitya Viveka arises. With the Nitya Nitya Viveka only, the pathway to Vairagya opens up. So with this, we will conclude our session today and we will continue in the next meeting. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.